So tell me this, all right? Around the civil rights movement, what was Phi Beta Sigma's involvement in the civil rights movement?
Phi Beta Sigma was involved in the most famous case in the civil rights movement, and it's called Jose Williams and John Lewis versus George Wallace. I just picked up some for the archives I'm going to send to the chapter, some testimony. We had 3 folks involved in that, and that is the case that created the Voting Rights Act, because that's the case that gave us the right to march. And both of the named claimants were Sigma, Jose Williams and John Lewis.
Wow.
And I was one of the attorneys. So we had some real presence in that, because were it not for that case, there would be no Voting Rights Act.
Wow. Wow, wow.
And then I represented Jimmy Lee Jackson, one of the early martyrs in the civil rights movement, because I was handling all the cases in Marion, Alabama. And the state trooper killed Jimmy Lee down there, and Martin preached the film. You know, the civil rights movement, when Martin Luther King first came to Birmingham, he didn't know anybody but me. So he would always hang out at my house in Fairfield, because he didn't know all these preachers and things, except John Portman, who had worked with him in Montgomery. But that was after he started coming. Martin and I were in school together at Boston University, so I knew Martin and Coretta and everybody. So when he started coming to Birmingham initially, I was the only person he really knew.
Wow.
And so he would hang out with me, and then eventually, of course, when the movement started, he got after with a lot of the other.
Around about what year was this?
This would be 1962, 1963.
Okay.
When he first started, when Martin first started coming. Fresh out of the way, invited him to come to Birmingham to help him with the movement. And then, of course, I tried the first case involving Fred and white fellow over in Atlanta, who's in Atlanta now. I hear from him every once in a while, named Lamar Weaver. And my clients were Carl and Ellen Senior Baldwin. Ellen Senior was a teacher, and Carl owned a upholstery business down 10th Avenue West. And they went to the train station going to Milwaukee, and they refused to be segregated. So I filed suit against J. W. Morgan, who was then the mayor of the city of Birmingham.
Yeah.
And we lost it in the district court, appealed it to the Court of Appeal. And won it. And it became the very first case in the United States that decided that you could not discriminate and intrastate travel, even though you may only be going to an hotel in Birmingham.
Yeah.
So it's a landmark case of the United States called Baldwin versus Morgan.
Baldwin versus Morgan?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have
glad to see you out.
The United States Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals case. So it's worked for us.
I'm doing well.
So we had a lot of Sigmas had an awful lot. No back.
You want a bottle of water? Yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
I guess I'm sorry, going on, this is Brother Amos Hall, just doing a video documentary, just, getting some history of Tau Sigma. So I'm talking to the right man. Yeah, I know he's the man.
You got the right man.
Brother, I got a question. I know you've met, how many founders did you meet? Did you get a chance to meet A. Langston Taylor?
I met everybody except Charles I. Brown.
Okay.
Yeah, I met A. Langston Taylor at the National Conclave in Washington, D.C. And, of course, Leonard Morse was very active in the Southern region.
Right.
He made all of the Southern regional conferences and everything. And I got to know him over the years. And of course, at the last conclave, his son, who's a Sigma, was there, and very active Sigma. So I got a chance to be 2 out of 3.
Okay. Around what year in D.C. did you first meet A. Langston Taylor?
Wasn't no around. I can tell you exactly. It was the December conclave of 1949.
1949. Wow, man, that's a long time ago.
I was made March the 8th, 1947, at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's when pledging was legal.
And my birthday is March 15th, so I was made 1 week before my 18th birthday.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna get started on taking these photos, and not just ask you a couple questions a little later.
Okay. House-in-law here now, Glennon 3.
Okay.
Peterman was my daughter's godfather. He died suddenly, very young. He was a high school principal when he died. McGregor lived right near Miles College, y'all. Of course, P.D. Jackson, that's Jackson Over's name was him.
Okay.
L.W. Brown, photography studio downtown. His son Leon was a Sigma. Leon was a dentist. He passed away. Brother Christian was an educator. He was a principal. Carlton Wells was a coach. Parnell Jones died 2-3 years ago. He was principal of Hill School down there.
Okay.
Bruce Roby, Charles School. Winfield Battle was principal. Of course, Fred Horn still around. S.J. Bennett was the head of the Masons, national.
Wow, okay.
Leroy Butler was a high school principal. Bill Hawes just died last year. He hadn't been there a year, okay. He was principal of Winona.
Okay.
And that's his brother, Chester Hawes, who was also a principal. Jonathan Thompson. No, Bill died about, I want to say about 8 months ago. And Jonathan Thompson was a postal worker. He left and moved to California. He died out there, and of course that's Thornton. Leroy Butler was a principal. James Beavers was a coach. And that's it.
Okay. Well, I guess why I got you on video?
That's why we named
Shoot the Kid.
Shoot the Kid after Bob Williams. He owned the Savoy nightclub. It was called Bob's Little Savoy.
Okay.
It was the biggest thing in town.
They used to call him the cigar man.
Yeah, it was the biggest thing in town. And Bob had, and this goes way back to the 30s. Bob at the Savoy, he had an upstairs place. He had a room up there called the Blue Room.
The Blue Room.
Yeah, nobody could go up there but see. And he kept it like that until he sold it, and eventually they tore it down. What's that now? The federal building, I guess, is that.
Well, I know a lot of brothers trying to figure out when was if you know when was Tau Sigma chartered.
I can't give you the exact date, but it was Tau Sigma was chartered about 1934.
Around 1934.
Around 1934. It had my first cousin Lloyd Newton was made in 1938.
Okay.
And the chapter had been around 3 or 4 years then.
Okay.
And because we were the only fraternity at Miles College for more than 30 years.
Wow.
There was no other fraternity at Miles College but Phi Beta Sigma. We had been at Miles College 20 or 25 years before anybody else came.
Wow, that's some history right there.
But I think the Alphas came. We had been there since the 30s. The Alphas came about the 50s, early 50s, and then the others came.
So Phi Beta Sigma was the first black fraternity in Birmingham.
Either either that, we're close to the campus, but the campus didn't have a presence on the college campus.
Okay.
Miles had their own, Sigma had their own presence on the college campus.
College campus, okay.
Like the campus was founded in 1911.
Right.
They had a few brothers. Every time I see them, they've grown by leaps and bounds. When I first got out of the Army and came back here to join this chapter, you couldn't scare up 10 Kappas to save your life. And the Sigmas, of course, they're still here now. The Sigmas could fill up an auditorium with so many of them. Because if you went to Miles and you joined the fraternity, it was Phi Beta Sigma. That was nothing. I can remember when I made Sigma, I used to come home and hang out with the guys at Miles. I went to college at 16, and I was made in the fraternity 1 week before my 18th birthday. So I've been a Sigma all my life. And I used to come and hang out with the Sigmas at Miles. But the Sigmas at Miles were almost old enough for my dad because they had been in the Army and back. And I'm talking about 1946, 47. You had people like George Yarber, Pittman, who was a member of that chapter out there, J.W. Jones, all of those guys. But see, the average guy who went in the Army during World War II, he stayed in the Army 4 or 5 years. So when they got out of the service, they was 25, 26. Hell, when I was that age, I was out of law school.
Man, wow. That's some history right there, man. That's some long, deep history. Now, I know I talked to the brother Mark Package, Mallet. Everybody know him as Mallet. I had to do some research on the Sigma chapter and researched and found out that Sigma chapter was actually chartered in January of 1925. So I'm trying to do some research to see who had the first established chapter out of all the Greek, black Greek fraternities here, and so far we got the oldest date.
I think so. I think we're probably the oldest.